Welcome to the Jared Briggs Show. It is Friday, everybody. Welcome to today's show of the Jared Briggs Show, where we are going to be talking about money again. Because money's important. Money is very important. You guys, we've done this 5 days in a row now. This week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Last week, we did it Tuesday to Friday, so we've got a good vibe going on. And Austin just gets better every single time. We've been getting the video stuff figured out with Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now we're going to start taking this and posting clips from these things. We've been posting reels and short clips, but we've got a few ideas of like playlists on YouTube, especially the Reddit questions. You guys, I really enjoy those things because I can sit here and blabber all day long, but it's fun to go and talk about things that people are actually asking questions about and giving insight. Never am I saying that I know the right thing. I'm just sharing kind of a thought, an idea, an opinion of, hey, what about this? Or try this avenue or a different perspective when it comes to money. So that's been a lot of fun. Today we're going to be talking about building momentum for wealth. I really enjoyed yesterday's conversation. If you did not catch yesterday's conversation, on Thursday, the 15th, we talked about being intentional with money. And I feel like just because of how important that is, that's going to tie really in today about building momentum for wealth, because momentum is something that builds up over time. If you do something really good one day, it's good. You're going to get benefit from it. But if you do it for 7 days, now you're starting to get compounding. If you do it for 30 days and then 6 months and then a year, that momentum really, really starts to build. I've heard a lot of people on social media. I really try to follow people that have achieved already what it is that I want to achieve in my life. And so I listen to them, I follow them, and I hear them say all the time that they'll have like a vacation planned or some family thing, and they will cancel it because of momentum. They'll be like, hey, I was going to go on this trip. We were going to go to Hawaii. We were going to do something, but I canceled it because I have so much good momentum going on right now that I don't want to lose that. And I like that. That's kind of a cool perspective, a cool idea. For me, though, enjoying inspires me even more. My wife and I took a trip this last summer, 2025, right at the end of summer, to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. There's a beautiful resort. We stayed right in the resort in the tower where we could overlook the lake. Ate at the night some nice restaurants there. We went on a cool bike ride where you go down through the railroad tunnels. You have to head east a little ways right before you get to Montana. But there's a really cool bike ride. It's like 15 miles or something down an old railroad track. So you go through tunnels, and it's gorgeous. We had a great time. And the whole time, I was inspired with positive momentum to create even more success and freedom so that we can enjoy even more of those things. There's so many beautiful things in this world that it'd be really fun to experience. And I share all of those things because building momentum is personal. Building momentum is 100% personal to you in the sense of what is it that you like. Some people going on a trip or vacation would maybe throw them off. For me and my wife, the conversations we have, the time spent, the fun, the laughs, the dreaming, all of it inspires me even more. I'm almost looking forward to get back home and getting to work again. And so building momentum, it needs to be personal to you. Everybody's going to have an opinion on how you should do it and why you should do it and when you should do it. When I started my insurance business, I copied people that were successful. Steal Like an Artist. That's a really cool book. But then I would be like, okay, this is working, but how can I make it me? At the start in my insurance business, I would buy leads. I would literally spend $600 to $800 every single week, and buy leads, which would give me opportunities to talk to people and serve them in their insurance needs. Well, then I started realizing, like, is there a better way? And I started seeking out a better way. And so many people, there was a lot of other agents like, hey, this is how it works. You got to keep doing it this way. And I did it the other way, and it turned out really good. So building momentum is personal to you. Like, you need to figure it out for yourself, because you'll be successful in an area because you make it you, because you make it personal, because you put your own personality and pizzazz into it. So building momentum ties into being intentional for the sole purpose and for the reason I believe is because when you are intentional, when you are extremely intentional on what it is that you are doing and the person that you are being and your system and your process and your plan. I was actually talking with my wife this morning. I've got a really cool opportunity that I'm working on that's going to be one of the biggest deals I've ever been able to be a part of in my business. And I told my wife, I was like, oh, when this happens, I've already got it planned out. Like I've been intentional. Like, hey, when I get this money, this is what I'm going to do with it. And we've got an intentional plan. It's super easy to just let life happen. Life will come and go in crazy ways. But if you're intentional and if you focus on the momentum in your life and really dial those things in, when good things happen, you already have a plan. You're already specific. You're already in charge and in control of those things to make them the best that they can be possible. Okay? Now, talking about building momentum, talking about being intentional, I want to jump right into section number 2 that I talk about every single day, which is the money reset. This is for those of you that maybe feel like you're not in control of your finances, that maybe money is controlling you and you're living paycheck to paycheck, or if you ask the question, where is all my money going? What's happening to it? Why is there always more month than money? Oh my gosh, everything's so expensive. Like if this is you, if it's constantly on your mind in a negative perspective, I want you to really pay attention to this section, because this section is your momentum and your intentional planning. This, if you are intentional about this, it will give you extreme momentum into your life. What that is there's 3 steps. These 3 steps, I believe, and I didn't create them. I didn't create any of this stuff. I'm just sharing information that's helped me. I believe that these 3 steps can really help you in the perspective of knowing your money, being in control of your money, being a steward of your money, and developing a plan to create wealth and momentum and intentionality in your life, and then increase your income, increase your wealth. I seen a video of Shaq O'Neal, and he talked about when he was educated on what it meant to be rich and what it meant to be wealthy. And he said, rich is you have a lot of money right now. Wealthy is when you pass away and your kids pass away, there's still money in the family tree, and you've blessed your family forever. Now, one thing, I do not want to raise spoiled little brat kids that are entitled to anything. They're going to earn everything that they have, and I'm not going to give them anything. Like, they better go build and earn something. I'm going to talk about that for a second. I've been trying to figure that out because I do have a desire to build something very big for my family tree. And I've been trying to think about, like, man, how could I really build this to a perspective that adds value, but I don't want my kids to be entitled or spoiled. My daughter right now, she sometimes will say stuff, and I'm like, no, that's mom and dad's. She's 4 years old. And I'm like, that's mom and dad's. Like, I just bought a horse. I traded my dirt bike for a horse, and she loves the horse. And I let her ride it, but I'm very intentional. I let her know that is dad's horse. And I told her the other day, I said, if you want the horse, you got to buy the horse for me for $100. And she's like, oh man, she's 4 years old. I ain't giving them nothing. Like, I'm gonna bless them. I'm gonna spoil them. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna experience things, but they aren't just gonna be entitled to anything. But I want to create wealth that's generational. That when I pass away, my kids understand the system and the process. They understand financial tools. They understand being intentional and creating momentum and being disciplined and being smart. That they can take what my wife and I do and 10x it, and then they teach their kids how to 10x it. I mean, look at some of these families, the Rockefeller family and so many of these other families. Isn't that cool? Like, what some of these families have done, and the amount of good people that are in this world that have done very good things financially. That's the end of things that I want to be on. So let's jump into this. Okay. So step number 1, you need to know your money. I'm going to talk about all that stuff, creating generational wealth, because I've been trying to think of, like, how do I do this? Like, Anyway, well, that's another topic for another day. All right, step number 1 is you need to know your money. All right, we're jumping right into the money reset course. Like, let's reset your life financially. If you're struggling financially, let's reset. Let's go back down to ground zero. Let's act like we don't know nothing, and let's relearn money. Let's understand money. When I was making $1,000 or less a month, and my wife and I were trying to figure it out, I was like, okay, I need to understand how much money I'm making, and then I need to start telling my money what to do. And so I looked at it from a perspective of, I got to start paying myself first. So this is what I'm teaching you. You need to know how much money that you make every single month. Very specifically, I type it into my financial system exactly what I get paid and exactly what my wife gets paid. If it changes by a penny, I update it in the system. If it changes by $10, I update it in the system, because I want to tell every penny where to go and what to do. Okay, so I need to know, KNOW, I need to know with knowledge and with very specific intentional planning how much income that we are making every single month. Then that takes you right to step number 2. Step number 1, step number 2 are very important into each other. But you first need to know how much money you make. Then we need to create a plan. We need to create a wealth creation plan. This is not a budget, you guys. I hate the word budget. Budget is terrible. Budget is limiting. Budget is scarcity. Nobody wants to be told what to do. All right? Let's all just agree that we all have a little bit of pride. And when our boss tells us to, hey, you need to step it up, there's a little bit of like, I'm going to slap you, right? We all have that in us, and that is okay, okay? And I appreciate when people tell me that I need to get better, because sometimes I got to swallow my pride and realize that. I'm going to tell you a story on that. One time, my wife and I were married a couple of years. Excuse me, there will be a swear word here. But my wife, I was being a little baby, and I was complaining about something. And I was frustrated within my business. I was just fresh into it and not doing near what I wanted to, and I was just frustrated. And I was being a baby. I was complaining, and I said something to my wife, and she was walking upstairs. I remember this, and I said, man, I probably just need to quit being a baby. And she turned around, and she said, yeah, quit being a little bitch. And I was like, excuse me? Like, I didn't say nothing. She finished walking upstairs, and I was downstairs, and I was fuming. And I was like, holy crap, she's right. I need to quit being a little baby. I need to quit being a little whiner. I need to quit finding excuses. I need to quit all of these things, and I need to just take action and be disciplined and level up, step up. And so I like that. A budget is that all of the time. It is limiting. It's negative. I get the perspective of it, and it has a good perspective, and I get the meaning of it. But we've got to understand our mind and our subconscious mind and our conscious mind. We need to understand these things and how it works. We're programmed. We do. I mean, think about it. You can brush your teeth without even thinking about it. The reason why is because our subconscious mind takes over, and it just does what it does. We react in ways because that's how we've been trained to react. We do things the way we do things because that's how we've trained ourselves, or we've been trained to do them. I mean, think about school. One thing I hate about school, and I'm having a hard time sending my kids to school, is it is literally sit down, shut up, raise your hand if you need to go to the bathroom. The frick? Like, this is America. I don't need to ask permission to go to the bathroom. And so I hate some of those things, but I get the perspective of it, okay? So this system, a wealth creation plan, is a freedom plan. We are going to create freedom. We are going to create abundance. We are going to create opportunity. We are going to create all of the good things that money can do. Money is a tool. Money is a resource. It will not buy you happiness, but it makes life a lot freaking easier. It makes life way easier, right? I heard it on a video one time. Somebody said, hey, they were complaining. They're like, if I threw $100,000 at your problems, how many problems would you have? A lot less. Okay, go make more money. Get better, improve, learn how money works, learn what money is. I heard on a video last night, when I drive home, sometime I'll watch YouTube videos or whatever, just educational stuff. And they said, oh, it was of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you have not read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you need to go read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But he talked that in America, 200 million people are dependent on the government. and not fully dependent on the government, but in some form or way they get some type of government subsidy in a way, which is Social Security or any of those other programs that are offered. If you are dependent on Social Security or any of these other things, that's not good. So I liked this. So we're creating independence, we're creating freedom, we're creating abundance. Excuse me. That's why I call it a wealth creation plan. Okay. So within your wealth creation plan, you need to know your income. You need to know your fixed expenses. These are the ones that stay the same every single month. Your car payment, your house payment, insurance, whatever. Okay. It's the exact same payment every single month. Then you need to know your variable expenses. These are the things that change. Your power bill, your water bill, gas, all of those different things that are, it might be close every single month, but it's a little bit different. Some months way higher, some months lower, some months non-existent, whatever it is that it is. Okay, so you have your fixed expenses and your variable expenses. This is just good to know because you're going to comb through your finances and know your subscriptions. You're going to know what you're spending money on, where your money's going, how you're using your money, where you're investing your money. It gives you knowledge and insight into these things. Those steps right there, knowing your income, your fixed expenses, and your variable expenses, put you in the driver's seat, put you in a position of power. And it's very simple. Yes, this is something you can accomplish very, very quickly. And I want it to be simple. I don't want to complicate things. I've tried budgeting apps. I've tried these different systems. I've tried so many different things, and I always go back to my simple Excel sheet where I literally type in my income, I type in my expenses, and it spits me out a number on the bottom. I'm like, bingo, that's all I need. I don't need some fancy dancy thing, okay? And I don't want to have to have a PhD to freaking learn how to use the thing. I want it to be basic, simple math. As simple, I want it to be, I could show my daughter and she would understand. Okay, she's 4 years old. That's how simple I want it to be. And so that's how I've created my system, is you need to know your money, know your expenses, fixed and variable, and then we're going to create some subcategories for the wealth creation. Your discretionary income, the money that's not being used, where is it going? All right, I guarantee so many of you, after you look at all your expenses, there would be money left over. But you're going out and buying things and doing things and operating from a perspective of, I think we're good, but there's no knowing that you're good. There's no knowing that you can. And so this is where we start creating subcategories and plan for the things that you desire. If you desire to start investing for retirement, if you desire to start investing in real estate, if you desire to pay off debt, if you desire to go on a vacation, we're going to create a vacation and gift fund. We're going to create a blow money fund. You work your life and don't enjoy it. You should give yourself permission to enjoy your money. It's your money. You earned it. You worked for it. Enjoy it a little bit. Plan for that. Take your spouse out on a date. Go, if you got $1,500 in your vacation and gift fund and you want to go out to a nice hotel for the weekend, spend every freaking penny because that's what it's planned for. So we're creating a plan specific to the life that it is that you want to live. And this is all in the form of using different accounts that you plan for. My wife and I transfer money into specific accounts. We put every expense on a credit card that we can. Sometimes we use Venmo and some things for different things, but everything goes on a credit card. And then we use those accounts to pay the credit card off every single month. We have a system that she understands, I understand, and it's simple to manage. I can manage it 100% myself. She can help. It's very simple, but we're both on the same page. And if she goes and spends $150 on hair and makeup and nails and eyebrows and all that stuff, and she uses it from her spend account that we planned for, I don't give a freak. I don't care. Okay, because that's what the money was planned for. That is her money to blow. Okay, so it gives us permission to enjoy and to plan and to be specific. So you know your income, you know your fixed expenses, you know your variable expenses, and then we start categorizing every dollar down to a penny. We know every single penny, where it's going and what it's doing. I balance my money down to $300. I want to leave $300 in the checking account because something might come up. And my wife might have to Venmo some lady in town that she wanted to support her little thing that she was doing. And she Venmos her $40. Okay, so I have a plan where I manage every dollar down to around $300 in the checking, and then I leave it. But everything's been told where to go and what to do. Okay, that is being a steward, and it's simple. It is so simple. You set this system up, you can manage your finances in 30 minutes to an hour every single month. I do it month to month. My wife gets paid. I get paid. I manage it. Boom, done. Okay? This is the position of power. This is the position of being the master of your money, being a good steward. And now you're not leaving things up to chance or up to question or up to wonder. So those 3 steps right there, or excuse me, those 2 steps are the first 2 steps in increasing income, in developing wealth, in creating a system and a process. Step number 3 is make more money. Okay? Make more money. Collect more money. Develop your skills. Develop your talents. Start that business. Start that side hustle. Get that certificate and get the $20 raise in your company. Move to a new company, whatever the freaking thing is. But let's get yourself into a position that nobody owns you. Okay, because you know your income, you're telling your money where to go and what to do. You got savings, you got investings, you've got growth plans, you got everything. And now, if a layoff comes, you're in a position to transition. If cost of living goes up, doesn't freaking affect you. All right? You will create more wealth by increasing your income than you can ever save. Let me say that again. You will create more wealth. You will become richer. You will become financially free and independent, and you'll get peace with your money when you increase your income more than you can save. Because if you make $5,000 a month right now, let's say there's a family of 4 and they're making $60,000 a year. I don't care where you live. It's a little bit tight right now, isn't it? Cost of living, inflation, all of these things. I don't care if you live in a tiny little town or you live in the big city. Everybody's being strapped financially. Well, what if you could make another $40,000 a year? Now you're making $100,000 a year. That family's situation just changed big time. Okay, what if they could increase it to $120,000 a year, $150,000 a year? And they do that for 20, 30 years. Do you see how much more money they will collect? I mean, it's a difference of millions of dollars over their lifetime. If you increase your income, you will generate more wealth than you can ever save. Now, step 1 and step 2 are very important, because if you make $100,000 a year right now and you're broke, you don't have an income problem. You have a management problem. So if we fix that management problem and understand what money is and how money works, and then you increase to $120,000 a year, you're going to kick everybody's butt, because you're making another $20,000 a year and you know what to do with it. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. You're not struggling financially. You're telling your money what to do. You're taking that money, living a better life, and also increasing savings and investments and growth and potential and knowledge and skills and experiences. You guys, this life's short. This life is very short. And I don't know about you, but experiences, time with family and friends, fun, that is awesome. That should be the motivating factor, in my opinion. You know, everybody's working to pay their bills. Let's start working to enjoy life. Okay? So when you get step 1 and 2 down, now we take all the effort, energy, time, everything that we were spending on our terrible system. We've got a good system. Now we're going to spend 5% on managing our money, because we've got a system and a process that takes no effort and energy anymore, because you got it down. We're going to take the 95% of our energy left, our time, and we're going to focus on increasing income. Whether that be through buying courses, whether that be through going to events, whether that be going back to school, whether that be starting the side hustle, starting the business, reading more books, getting around other people, whatever it is, start taking that money and investing into yourself, developing yourself, and increase your income. All right? I think it's so much more important. My wife and I, we started investing for retirement, but we would pull that money out and invest it back into ourselves as fast as we were planning for retirement. Because I'm like, our life is going to be so much better making $200,000 a year, investing that, than making $50,000 a year and investing that. Like could we put $20,000 a year away for retirement instead of $2,000 a year? Like, even if you're doing your company 401k match and stuff, if you make $50,000 a year and you're doing a 3%, they're doing a 3%. Do the math, guys. You're not investing that much money. But what if you could get to $150,000 a year and doing the same match? It's a lot more money. Increasing income will create and generate more wealth than saving and investing ever will. You will out-earn all of those things. You know, if you're sitting here trying to get an 8, 10, 12% rate of return, why not go get that on your income? What if you could increase your income by 5% every year? That's going to turn into some money. Okay? So know your income, create a plan, know where it's going, know what it's doing, and then increase income, increase investments. Step 1 and 2 is going to automatically start making you more money because you're going to be more intentional with what it's doing and where it's going. You know, if you are investing right now and you get better with your money and you start investing more, you're already making more money because you're more disciplined with your money. Well, what if we can do that and increase our income? Do you see the momentum? Step 1, the first thing we talked about was momentum. Do you see the momentum? Do you see the intentionality? Do you see the system and the process that generates the financial life that it is that you truly want to live? That's where it gets exciting, ladies and gentlemen. It gets very, very exciting. All right. We've talked about that step number 2, the money reset. We've talked about that every single day on these lives. This is day 9, every single day. Days go quick. I remember day 1 like it was yesterday. Now we're going to do my next very fun favorite part of all this, and that is going to Reddit. If you guys wonder, if you go on Reddit, I am moneyman_dash. I don't know why it does that. I don't. Maybe I did that. Moneyman_dash. Maybe I should put a picture on there. Maybe like a dollar. There we go. I'm going to put a cool dollar sign thing. Anyway, we're going to read some questions. I'm going to answer the questions, give some insight. None of it's perfect. I'm not all-knowing. I don't know everything about money. I'm learning every single day. There are things that I did financially 2 years ago that I would never do today. There's things that I've done financially in the last week that I probably wouldn't do again a year or two from now. We are always growing. We are always expanding. That's the thing of life. We all doing that. Right? We all got things that we wish we didn't do, but we learned from them. All right. Here's a question that just popped up. Do-apartment7210. How to save $100,000 in 2 years. I'm 17, working almost 9 to 5 just to survive. No family support. Paying for everything myself. School during the day. Work 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. 5 days a week. My goal is to save $100,000 in 2 years. But I have no clue where to start. Any realistic advice on how I can actually start saving and building toward that? I'm just trying to read some of these comments, get a perspective, how to save $100,000. I mean, if you want to do it in 2 years, you got to save $50,000 a year. It's a math. You guys, it's math. So if you want to, you got to be earning. I mean, if it takes $20,000 to live every year, you got to be earning $70,000 to save $50,000. So you need to do the math and realize. I mean, that's where it gets fun. Is if you're like, all right, I want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, so let's do this. So I'm gonna let's say you're like, I make $100,000. I want to make $100,000 a year. I'm just gonna kind of do that. And you're like, I make $25 an hour. You're like, all right, so $100,000 divided by 25. So I got to work 4,000 hours, divide that by 12, 333 hours a month. Maybe I should, how many working days are there? Well, let's just do this. So 100,000 divided by 25 is 4,000, divided by 12 is that. Okay, so I'm going to go 4,000. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart here. Divided by 52. Okay, so you got to work 77 hours a week. That's no taxes, that's no expenses, that's none of those things. But if you wanted to earn gross $100,000, you make $25 an hour, you got to work 77 hours. It's 76.9, so 77 hours. But that's not taking out taxes or anything, right? So if you want to profit, like take home $100,000, it's a lot more. So that's do-apartment7210. Like, do the math. Do the math, what it is. Like, I've ran the math. I mean, the calculator on my phone is probably the #1 used app. I'm always running figures and calculating stuff. And so I would just, like, for you, where could you invest it? What could you do with it? Where could you get a return? All of those different things. If I could do one thing over, I would have started a whole life insurance policy at 18 years old. Holy crap, where it would be today would be so cool to see. Anyway, do the math. Do the math, and then if you do the math and that's not possible, then you realize, okay, I need to develop skills, talents. I need to change jobs. I need to go get a sales job. You got to make a change. If the vehicle you're in isn't going to get you there, that's where you make a change. That's where you make a move. It's scary, but you got to do it. What actually moves credit score fastest? I'm going to share. I like this one. Dry_truth2909. I've been trying to fix my credit and keep seeing conflicting advice. Some people say utilization matters most. Others say late payments destroy everything. Others say small changes don't matter at all. For people who've improved their score, what made the biggest difference for you in the shortest time? Okay, credit score. I am zero of an expert on credit score. I'm just going to share from my perspective. I feel like credit score, it's a tough thing to master because to have a really, really, really good high credit score, you have to have a lot of utilization of credit. I'm the one where I don't necessarily have the plan to be debt-free all the time. Debt is a tool. Debt is a resource. So if we can use debt, but I don't like having debt on everything. Like my wife and I are in the building phase of our lives right now where like we needed a horse trailer. We needed some vehicles. We needed a camper. We needed a house. We need, and it's just like, God, to save to pay cash for everything, sometimes it takes a while. So I'm going to leverage debt and then get it paid off quick, right? But when you pay something off, it dings the crap out of your credit. So I feel like credit is a thing that's a little bit wild to manage. And I would really focus on it from the perspective of like, what is your goal? If having an 820 credit score is like, for some reason, crazy important to you, then you need to learn based on that. My goal is to always have good enough credit that if I do need access to money or credit, that I can go to the bank and I'm always above their baseline. Like some banks will be like, hey, as long as you're above a 720, we don't care. 740, like whatever their number is, right? And so I'm always like, as long as I'm in those where they're like, hey, you are good enough to qualify for our best rate we'll offer, that's great to me. And maybe there's some ignorance there. Educate me there if you guys have some other information on that. But I have a banker friend that works for a very successful bank. He's very high up, and I've learned a ton from him. I've actually done some insurance things for him, and then he's done a lot of banking things for me. And he taught me, he said, hey, if you want to increase your credit score the very best possible, the thing to do is get a credit card and never use more than 30% of its availability. So if you have a $1,000 limit for easy numbers, never use more than 300 of it. So he's like, use it to buy your groceries and gas, and spend $200-300, $250, pay it off. Use it again, pay it off. Use it again, pay it off. And he says banks and credit companies look at your access and your availability to credit. And if you are showing a $1,000 limit, but you're only ever using less than 30, they're going to show a low utilization and they're going to increase your score. Having credit cards has been the best thing that my wife and I ever did, because when we were first married, we didn't have a vehicle loan. Her car was paid off. My car was paid off. I actually totaled one of my wife's car very quick into our marriage. We had to buy her a new one. We paid cash for it. We didn't want payments at that time because I wasn't making anything. Like we needed to operate on a very low budget. So we weren't building credit that way. I had a little bit of credit, but my wife didn't. She had nothing. And I started doing some stuff with a job, and I was like, hey, I want to start putting some of these expenses on my own personal card, and then the company reimbursed me. So we went out and applied for a $1,000 credit card, and we would use up to $300 every month. Sometimes it would get higher, just depending on what it was. We'd use $500, $600, $700, $800. But we always tried to manage it that way. Next thing you know, they increased this to $5,000, then $10,000, then $15,000, then $20,000, then $25,000. They just kept increasing our availability to credit, which allowed, you got a $10,000 limit. Now you can use $3,000, and we go over that at times, you guys, depending on what's going on. But when we went to build our house, my wife only had a couple years of credit history, and it was incredible. It was really, really good. And that was the only credit scores and things that were in her name was our credit cards. And she was in the 700s, like high 700s. Like so much the bank didn't even question our credit score. So that's been some of the best advice that I've ever received. And the cool thing about credit cards is it's constant. You know, it's not like a car loan where if you go get a car loan and then you pay the car loan off, you dip down. It hurts your credit to pay stuff off, which is stupid. I think that's so stupid. But a credit card, it's constant. It's always there. Like we have credit cards that we use very rarely, but they're always there. We always have availability to them. And so it shows we have a very high credit availability between my wife and I. All of our names are on every one of them, so we use them together. So I would share from here, use a credit card, but you've got to be disciplined. Disciplined in the sense of if you buy it, you pay it off. You have to use a credit card just like a debit card. Okay, a credit card is so much better to use, so much safer, way more benefits to it. I don't even have a debit card. I don't want a debit card. My wife got really mad at me one day because our bank sent us new debit cards because we did have them at the start before we got the credit card. So they would send you, when they expire, they send you a new one. And I got one and I cut it up instantly. Like I didn't even peel the sticker off of it. And I cut it up and threw it in the garbage. She's like, "What are you freaking doing?" And I was like, "I don't want it." And she was mad at me because she's like, "Well, if you go to an ATM and I was like, "I don't ever go to an ATM. I don't want the card. I don't want it in my wallet because if somebody gets a hold of a debit card and spends it, that's your money." Okay? If somebody gets a hold of your debit card or scams your debit card, they are actually scamming your money. If they get a hold of your credit card, it's the credit card company's money. It's not my money until I pay it off. Okay? So I had a scam last week, end of last week. I bought dinner for a family member, got freaking completely scammed, called the credit card company as soon as it cleared, and they said, "Yep, we're putting the money back on your card. We're going to go fight them and get that back for you." Cool. You can do that with a debit card, but it's not that easy. Okay? So my kids will never have a debit card. As I've already asked my bank where I do my personal banking at, I say, "Hey, can I get a credit card set up on my kids' names?" And they're like, "Yeah, here's the things that we need." So that's the next step because of how important credit cards are if you use them correctly. Like my kids are going to have 15 years of credit history by the time they're 20. Okay, it's going to help them big time. So I would use that. And then always stay current on payments, not even from a credit perspective, but you guys, every day your a loan starts building interest. So if you're late on a payment, 5 days, that 5 days has started building interest again. And so when you finally make the payment, less is going to go to principal than interest. Less is going to go to principal, more is going to go to interest because you're late on it. And it's already gone into the next month of building interest. So never be late on your payments. Always make sure you're current. Either pay them early or pay them on time because you don't want interest to start building again. And so that's another important part about building credit and being smart with those things is make sure you're current on your payments, at least make your minimum payments on everything. And then utilization as well is a big thing with credit cards. Or with debt, credit score, all of that stuff. Again, though, you guys, you need to understand from the perspective of what it is that you're trying to achieve. Would it be cool to have an 800 whatever credit score? It would, but I honestly don't care. I don't give two flips about my credit score. As long as I'm above the line and there's no problem with the banks and they don't question my ability to pay my payments and bills, I don't care if it's a 740 over a 780. Like I literally see broke people, "Oh, I got a credit score of 720. Good for freaking you. How much do you have how's that going to help you if the economy completely flips? If the economy flips and you lose your job, nobody's going to give you a loan anyway. Your credit score doesn't mean jack unless you have the ability to use it. It doesn't mean jack. Okay? That's my perspective of it. I might be totally wrong. But that's my perspective of it. Let's see. Trying to rebuild. What are the best credit cards for bad credit? This is something I actually don't know a lot about. How do you organize workflow? I don't know. Ooh, here's something. 16 and need a bank account. Hi, I'm 16 years old and I'm currently, this is Loopsy_swirls, SWURLS. I'm 16 and I'm currently looking for a job. I don't have a bank account or anything like that because just about everything requires a parent to be on the account too, and my mom is known for taking money from her kids. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Is there any way I can get my own bank account or any kind of debit card that my paychecks can be on and my mom won't have access to it? Ooh, that's a good question. Does anybody have insight for this awesome 16-year-old? I would, if I were you, I would go just pop into a bank. Do you have some type of a mentor or somebody that helps you or looks after you? Maybe put them on your bank account. I don't think it has to be a family member. I'm pretty sure it can be anyone. I think pretty sure because I had somebody co-sign on a loan for me. They were an uncle, but it wasn't, there's no blood or nothing. Like blood relation. I don't think you have to. It's not the bank that has this requirement. It's the law. You're a minor. Yeah, I think there is a problem with that being a minor. So I would, do you have some type of a mentor or family member or neighbor or friend or something that could be on the account with you if your parent's a problem? That's just too bad. I'm sorry about that. That's what I would look at, though, is, see, and I was even going to say like Venmo or something like that. Get the Venmo debit card or something like that just to get you started. I don't think you can. I mean, one thing you could do is operate from cash. If the company pays you, you can go to the bank and cash it. Maybe you can as a minor. I would look into getting some type of mentor. That's a tough one, man. That breaks my heart. I hate hearing that with people. Here's an interesting one. HAIBEERMIRE. Grandma's debt. Any advice? My grandma is in her late 80s and recently widowed. She recently confided in me that she has around $28,000 in credit card debt. A large part of it were gift cards she bought as part of our crypto scam. Freaking watch out for that crap, you guys. I'm sick of that. She got involved in from some friend she met playing Words with Friends. Good night. I've stopped that and got to break it to her that the money is gone and not quadrupled in a foreign account somewhere. Sorry, they're writing this in a hard way to read. Her only income is $1,400 a month is Social Security. We talked about this. That's the freaking problem, you guys. Social Security was never for the purpose of retirement. It was for the purpose of insurance. She lives with family and has no home, vehicle, savings, just her bank account, which runs very lean. She's been trying to pay off the cards, which is impossible and, in my opinion, pointless. The minimum alone are a huge chunk of her already limited income. Gosh damn. Any potential downsides to having her stop making payments? Bankruptcy seems unnecessary. As far as I can tell, she's pretty much judgment proof. I'd rather she not be able to open more credit, so the hit to her credit is fine. Anything I should be worried about? Any advice is appreciated. I hate the advice. Like, I don't like how easy it is in this financial system that we have to just not be responsible with her money. I hate that. Like, it really does frustrate me that people can go rack up credit cards, file for bankruptcy, and then do it again. I mean, people do it. People literally have $40,000 in medical debt and $30,000 in credit card debt and just go file bankruptcy and do it again and then do it again. I hate that that's the system that we've built. Like, we need to create more accountability in this sense. But somebody that's in their 80s and living on $1,400 a month, I mean, depending on your expenses and stuff, I mean, see if you can get them paid down, and if you could be smart and lean with them or something. I shouldn't have clicked on this one. This one's a hard one. I never want to do that, in the sense of, like, if I bought it, it's my responsibility. I got to pay for it. There's bills that I've paid that I've been pissed about because I got screwed or whatever. And I'm like, well, I did it. I got to pay for it still. So I would say I would advise people to pay their crap off. Like, that $28,000 has got to get paid by someone. And it's causing interest to increase. It's causing inflation. It's causing problems financially in America, period. Because that money's got to come from somewhere. I mean, think about it. All these credit card companies in different places, yeah, they're making billions and trillions of dollars off stuff. But a lot of subsidies within our country are because of this type of a system. 200 million people dependent on the government. It's just frustrating. But, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So, I mean, credit at this point doesn't mean freaking anything to her. Like, what is she going to do? Go buy a new house, go buy cars, go do stuff. So I would make that decision based on yourself and, like, your own moral compass. But that's a tough one. Looking for advice or options, please. Long post. This is a long one, but we're going to do it. What's our time? We got 10 minutes left. Okay. Oh, no. Here we go. All right. Hello, all. I posted last week, and I'm still considering options and opinions. Info. Married, taxable income, $105,000, 3 kids. Debt info. Cabela's, $8,600. Chase, $8,600. Menards, however you say that, paying off tomorrow, $593. This was 7 minutes ago. Great job. Best Buy, $1,900. PayPal, $3,300. Amazon, $2,800. 401k loan, $16,000 total. Suburban loan, $7,200. Mortgage, $174K. Expenses, utilities, water, trash, groceries, Verizon, cable, streaming, music, Syntax, band, orchestras, instruments, rent to own and free up, violin. Holy cow. Me, $5,200 a month. Her, $1,200 a month for 9 months. Works for school. 718 credit. Good job. Currently $8,500 in checking accounts. Hopefully for 3% raise, $5K bonus, and average $3,500 tax return, all average over the last 5 years. Considering a home equity loan, a HELOC, for an official 4th bedroom in our house for our oldest. Need to include egress to make official. Would utilize this to pay off all credit card debt, and possibly Suburban, which would free up $1,207 a month. Only remaining debt would be 401k loan, which is paycheck deducted regardless, and give us $17K for house renovation. Or I include the 401k loan, and that nets us $1,770 a month, but leaves us little to nothing for actual renovation. If this is not a great idea, I floated around the idea of lapsing the credit card payments to wait for a payoff offer. That could hurt my credit score in the long run. Oh my gosh, for any type of home loan in the next few years. Or do I bite the bullet and pay off everything? You bite the freaking bullet and you pay off everything. You get disciplined. You remove all the freaking crap. You get rid of your TV. Your cable and your TV is $280 a month. I'm going to freaking put this into my system and respond back here. You make $105,000 a year. Like, you're doing fine. The problem is Cabela's, Chase, Menards, however, I don't even know what the heck that is. Best Buy, PayPal, Amazon, 401k loan, Suburban loan, mortgage. Everything is financed. Your shopping is financed. I can't stand store credit cards. I for the life of me, have never understood. You remember how I say every financial tool was created for a reason and for a purpose? I cannot find a store credit. You'll get 20% off your phone. Okay, cool. So I'm spending $100. I saved $20. But now I got another freaking credit card at 29% interest, or 17.5, or 25, or 25. What are we freaking doing, ladies and gentlemen? What are we doing? You, FERRISONE 28. I'm here with you, man. I get it. You got to get this together. You got to get it together. You are in a situation. You've got $8,500 saved. So you got $8,500 in your checking account that could pay off PayPal and Best Buy and Amazon 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you would still have like $1,000 left over. What are we doing? Okay, that's 4 credit cards paid off right there. Boom. You've got $17,000 left, $17,200 in credit cards left. Don't do a HELOC. A HELOC is just going to be another interest rate and another payment. The bedroom can wait. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The bedroom can freaking wait. Get aggressive. You guys could have all of this debt paid off in a year, and then you could pay cash for the freaking renovation. And then you're in a situation where you're paying off all of your debt, you've got a renovation, or just sell the freaking house. I bet you got a ton of equity. Oh, shit, your house is at 2.88%. That's incredible. But it's got a value of $345,000. You owe $174,000. Man, there's a chunk of change there. But that interest rate, ooh, boy, I wish my interest rate was 2.88. When we started building our house, that's where interest rates were. We're now at 6%. 10 months later, it grew from 2.8 to 6%. That's tough. I wouldn't get rid of that freaking thing. A HELOC is going to cost you 5, 6, 7, 8%. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're just going to put yourself in another freaking bad situation. Okay, cable says to be canceled soon. Sorry, I didn't see that. Cable to be canceled soon. Heck yeah, get rid of that freaking thing. Streaming, music, TV, get rid of that crap. Okay? Music, you guys, it sucks to listen to a commercial for a minute. Listen to the freaking commercial and save the $80 a month. You're giving that money away. I don't understand what a syntax, $100 a month, alcohol, me 50, smoking her 50. I guess that's you're spending $200 a month on alcohol. Wouldn't advise that, but hey, everybody's got their own thing. Band, orchestra, instruments. The string instruments are not to full size income. I don't understand that. I mean, you got your hobbies. Drink. There's nothing wrong with having a drink once in a while and smoke and stuff like that. Like, go for it. You got to enjoy your life and enjoy your money too, however you want to. Don't do a HELOC. I would highly advise you. You guys put this. If you went back and listened to this video and went through step number 2, 1, 2, and 3, the money reset, you guys would be freaking out of all this debt in a year with $105,000 income. Things are going to be a little tight, but we plan for that, right? You can still go out to eat. You can still have fun. You can still buy good gifts for your kids. I would get rid of all that stupid debt, Cabela's and Chase and all those. I'd get rid of that crap. And then that frees up how much money a month? What, $1,200 a month? All credit cards, possibly Suburban, which would free up $1,200 a month. Holy crap. Okay, let's create a plan. Let's start stuffing every extra penny into that plan, pulling that money out, paying these things off. Now we've created, oh gosh. If you see this, I want to do a Zoom with you, no charge. I want to do a Zoom with you, no charge, and let's build this plan. I want to show you this. You guys would be in a great situation. Ladies and gentlemen, if something's not working, don't keep doing it. Okay? If something's not working, stop doing it. Completely stop doing it and understand that maybe you need to learn some new information. In this situation, getting more debt isn't going to help you. Yeah, it's going to pay off all those things, but you're just kicking the can down the road. Okay, I would create a wealth creation plan. Good job on knowing your finances and what you're spending. I'd cut out all unnecessary things completely. I would cut them out. And then I would, HELOC, official 4th bedroom to our house, need to include $50K at 8.88% fixed, $442 a month. Look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. You just created another. I'm going to show this. Okay, you guys, stick around. I have a loan calculator on my phone. We're going to go like this. So $50,000, 8.88 for 20 years, and monthly, $442. Let's see. Let's see how on the spot this is. Crap. Stupid ads. Okay, it's really close. You're going to spend $93,000 in interest, roughly. Right around $90,000 in interest over the next 20 years on that HELOC loan. Do you really, so your total payoff is going to be $140,000 to $143,000. Do you really want to kick that can down the road for 20 more years and give a bank another $90,000 of your money? Now, a HELOC is a tool and a resource. If you were going to pull out $50K and go buy a rental property that generates $500 a month in income instead of a $442 payment, hell yeah, get it. But you are literally just kicking the can down the road and deferring your current. That's going to cost you another $90,000. I would never do that. I would never do that in your situation. I would take the $8,500. I'd pay off some of those things that you can pay off now. And I would get into a system where you know your fixed expenses, know your variable expenses, and then we're going to create a plan. Every extra, make minimum payments on everything. And then you're going to start with the lowest balance. I don't care interest rates, none of that. We're going to start creating wealth, okay? You're going to take your lowest balance stuff, and you're going to create a plan. You've got a family. You need to make sure you have money when stuff comes up, okay? And if you're like, hey, I need $2,500 all the time, you're going to say, hey, every time this account gets to $5,000, we're going to take $2,500 and put on debt. Build back to $5,000, $2,500. 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 You're making minimum payments the whole time, and now we've just created a system where you're putting money into your financial system instead of giving your money to somebody else. We've got to be in a wealth creation mindset to start out right here, right now, okay? So we're going to create wealth. We're going to create a habit. We're going to create a system that all goes back there. You're in a good situation. Build onto the house. I love it. Make a better situation for your family, but don't kick that can down the road and cost yourself another $90,000. Your income, your situation, you could be debt free in the next year. All right. So like the Suburban loan is 2.44%. I wouldn't even worry about that sucker for right now. Okay. I'd make minimum payment on that, minimum payment on the mortgage, minimum payment on the 401k. Well, because they're taking it out of your paycheck, I would tackle every one of those credit cards first. That's what I would do. I'd get okay, you said the one's going to be paid off tomorrow for $593. Boom, it's gone. Next, I would target Best Buy. Boom, it's gone. Next, I would target Amazon. Boom, it's gone. Then PayPal, and then Chase and Cabela's, and we're done. Okay, and then start being smarter with money. You're in a great situation. Don't worry about the mortgage. Don't worry about the car. Don't worry about the 401k. Tackle everything else. And once those are done, then take all your extra and maybe start stashing away and do the addition, the renovation, or get the Suburban paid off, get the 401k paid off, and then you just got your mortgage. I know it sucks. Maybe you need another bedroom. I get it. But, man, it'd be so much better to be in a financial position and situation. And then also start looking at, like, get the system down. What could you do to make a little extra income? You know, could you make an extra $10,000, $15,000 this year? Is there some type of side hustle thing you could do? Could you mow some yards? Could you clean some vehicles? Could you clean some houses? Could you, like the job that you do, could you do some of that on the side, your own little side gig thing to earn income? Like, what could you do? Could you take on more hours? Could your wife take on a little bit more, add something separate? Get freaking aggressive for a year, and you're in a great situation. A very good situation. Good job, though. Way to be educational. Let's get that spending under control. We don't need Cabela's. We don't need Chase. If you need stuff at Cabela's, put it on your everyday credit card and pay it off every single month. You just gave Cabela's, Chase, you've given them so much money because you're paying interest on all that money. You've just given it away. Let's stop that, and let's start building wealth and create wealth and freaking build your family life better. I mean, you've got equity. You're in a good situation. Get rid of all that crap and build equity and wealth even more. I mean, if you do that renovation, maybe now your house is worth a $500,000. You roll with that for a little while, and then maybe you sell it for $500,000 when interest rates come down a little bit, even if you bump up to a 4%, and then go buy a house that's $500,000 now, or maybe $600,000, sit in that for 10, 15 years, and let it grow to $800,000, $900,000. And then you sell that one and like keep floating your equity, growing your equity, building, or don't do that. I mean, you're almost paid off, and then start investing even more. I would, on your mortgage, split that payment into 2 payments. If you're paying $1,200 a month, that's your normal payment. I would contact the mortgage company and say, hey, I want to pay $600 on the 10th and $600 on the 20th. And you're going to start paying that down even more. You'll pay that off even quicker. Do it with the Suburban as well. Take that $431 and split it into at least 2 payments, because every time you make a payment on interest, it recalibrates the interest to principal, and every time that happens, you pay off principal faster and quicker. So that's the stuff that I would share. You're in a good situation. I got fired up on that one. I don't like seeing people put themselves in worse positions. You're in a good position. FERRISONE 28. You're in a good position. Execute, get aggressive, get focused, get laser focused, enjoy life, and make it happen. You're doing all right, brother. Keep going. All right, you guys, that is today's episode, today's show of the Jared Briggs Show. You guys, my name is Jared Briggs. I desire to share information to help people financially. I don't like watching people struggle financially. I want to share something hopefully to help anybody and everybody with their monies and with their finances and with their life. I believe there's a way for you to accomplish all that it is that you want. There's a way for you to be a good person, to have time, to make a lot of money, to be present with your family, to do everything that it is that you desire. There is a way for all of it to happen. You can have a lot of time and a lot of money at the same time. You can be a good person. You can be all of them. I believe in this possibility and in this capability that we are put on this earth with infinite potential. And I want to help everybody achieve that infinite potential. So go be the best, be the master of your life, take charge, get disciplined, take life by the freaking horns and make it give you what it is that you want. That is our capability. So you guys have a wonderful day. Today is going to be the last day of this show for this week. We'll jump right back into this again this next Monday. You all have a wonderful weekend, and thank you.